when looking for an insurance company, you need to make sure that they're not going to just pass the buck around and they're going to just yes you until it's time to say no when it comes to money, putting money out. National General Insurance from the gate was not right with me. Freeway Insurance is scandalous and absolutely criminal, for sure criminal. National General, National Inagon, Stonewood, any of their affiliates, they say they're not connected to each other, but they're all owned by the same group. I called over 44 times over the next 10 days and tried to get insurance, to get it added on. My lawyer tells me that you have a right to add and change your insurance policy within a reasonable amount of time, meaning like 48 hours or 72 hours, not 10 days, right? And plus, it was in danger because it was their fault because they're not supposed to insure me unless they give me full coverage because they knew it was a finance car. They weren't doing what the brokers are trained to do. So anyway, I can't get insurance. I can't get it added on. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to call, and then an accident happens. This lady who also has National General, but she has the East Coast National General. I have the West. I get in an accident with her, and I have my service dog with me. So we're both hurt. The car's totaled. They sent an adjuster out 2 days after the accident. And he said, yeah, the car's totaled, right? So now they're saying they never sent an adjuster out, but there's a lot of things have happened since then. So anyway, I filed a complaint with the National General. And I now have 4 adjusters, 2 for the other lady. She has 2 adjusters, a bodily injury and a property. And I have a bodily injury and a property. I go to her bodily injury adjuster and property adjuster, and I asked them, okay, what's the problem? And they say, well, right now she's covered, but we're not going to cover you under hers because we're going to deny it and say it's your fault. And I said, why? My fault? Why? She caused it. She was speeding, recklessly driving, lane changes without signaling, and it drove me into a curb. So well, we're just going to deny it based on a video that was submitted. I go, okay, well, I would like to see the video. Okay, so they close the case. I see the video and I call and I say, hey, there's problems with that video. Here's what the problems are. And she just, yeah, there are problems with it. So I go, what do I need to do? She goes, well, for right now, I think you should go to Freeway Insurance because you told me the story about how you were trying to get it covered and they wouldn't let you cover it. And to get them to backdate the policy from the January 7th, which is when I caught the guy at the Freeway Insurance, okay, back to December 2nd when I first started the policy. And she said, they do it. They will do it for you if it's true. So on the 7th of January, I went to Freeway Insurance and I tracked the guy down. And first they told me he wasn't there. Then I said, I'm not leaving until I see him. I waited 45 minutes. He came rolling out of the back, drunk, stinking drunk. So he takes me back to the boiler room back there where they're doing insurance. And he says, I went on a little drunken spree. I took some days off. Yeah, he took like 33 days off. And, it's my fault, man. I'll take care of it. I'll backdate it. I'll get it backdated for you. No problem. Right? So he goes to do all the paperwork and he backdates it. All the paperwork's backdated. He goes to do it on the computer and the computer won't take the date. Unless you change the date on the computer, of course. All right. So he goes to a supervisor. He goes, hold on. He goes to a supervisor and I have her name somewhere. And he talks to her. He comes back and he says, it's all taken care of. I'm just going to write on the receipt that it was backdated. I'll put it on the face sheet of the insurance coverage that I'm going to give you right now. I go, I guess that's fair enough. I'll take that. So he charges me $350 more, and he gives me this. He apologizes, and he takes me out. I have a witness with me. My Lyft driver was in there the whole time right next to me. So anyway, I take it, and I submit it to National General. They change adjusters on me. The new adjuster knows nothing about go and get it backdated. I tell them. They said, okay, well, let's see if they did it. And I said, yeah, I sent it to you guys. So it took another couple of weeks. Finally got a hold of them again. They never want to answer. And they tell me that they sent an email to Freeway Insurance to verify that it was backdated. And it came back as, no, they never backdated anything. Why would they backdate that? Oh, no, never. But who they got it from there has nothing to do with who actually backdated it. Right. So I submit my paperwork to my lawyer and he tells me, you were covered. I don't know what they're talking about. So he calls them, National General, and the lady says, well, I think we've already taken care of that matter in his favor, and it should be moving on from there right now. So 2 months goes by. No. So in the meantime, I have an appeal with the National General for whose fault it is. They tell me to submit for a third-party review. I did, and I was granted the third-party review. And they never did it. Just 2 months later, I got mad that they hadn't done anything. So they had my new claims adjuster do all the interviews because they didn't interview the witnesses at all. So at the conclusion of his report said that the lady was driving recklessly, endangered several people, almost hit one of the witnesses before she drove me into the curve, didn't signal twice, and is the cause of the accident. And therefore, my guy has no liability. Okay, so they call and they tell me it's all good. So where do I get my car fixed or total that? Call this number. So I called the girl back, the same one that had told me at the beginning, and she's the other side. She's the other party's claims adjuster. So she goes, "Oh, this case was open again. I thought I was done with this months ago. They've been investigating it. Oh, they appealed it. Oh, it was overturned." And she's all for the first time she's seeing it, and she's mad, right? So she goes, "Why do I have to look into this?" Last week, she called and said, we're going to have a roundtable with the managers. But let me tell you, it's like an East Coast, West Coast gang war. National General has a West Coast division and an East Coast division. Neither one of us wants to pay for the other person's, the other side of stuff. So it's kind of like an internal struggle. Chances are what will happen is nothing will happen. No one will decide anything, and it'll just go up to our upper managers. But we don't want them to get this case, but they may end up getting it, and in which case they'll sit on it for months or who knows how long. Right. So last I heard, they were having a roundtable, and that they had it last Thursday, and that they want to do some more investigation. Well, it's funny that they want to investigate all of a sudden when on the second day after the accident, they closed the case. And it was the West Coast investigators that were out here that did their whole thing and talked to the witnesses, they recorded them, and concluded. So what are we having the people who were overturned review the people who overturned them? How are you going to an appeal? You don't say, oh, the appellate judge turned this case over. Oh, well, I got a problem with that. I'm going to have to investigate that. The person who was investigated to begin with. Follow? How can she, who is the person who made the mistake of closing the case on the second day, didn't interview witnesses or took witnesses' interviews without recording them, and messed the whole file up, go back after someone else has been working on it for 5 months and found the truth out through how insurance practices are supposed to work, and has overturned her, and now she's saying, oh, I'm overturned? Oh, no, that's not going to happen. So she's fighting it. It's been 4.5 months of a total car outside. They haven't paid for a rental car. They haven't paid for anything. They don't return calls. They lie. One adjuster said that she talked to one of the witnesses and she didn't record it like she was supposed to, but she wrote down answers and stuff. Well, my lawyer got that witness in front of the thing and listened to what she had said, and there are things in there my witness the witness never even said, and she's got it written down. So anyway, the lady that this lady almost hit before she hit me was right behind me. Right? She gave a statement. It was pretty clear, So whose fault it is? It's not mine. So now they should cover me under her policy. They're dealing with that, doing their little more investigation. I don't know why they should be investigating because it's not theirs to investigate. It was already taken care of. It was already appealed. Their investigation. So in the meantime, what about my insurance? I had insurance legally. I should have been covered under my own policy. They're saying that, Freeway they sent us an email back saying that they didn't do it. And I'm sitting there, so what if they sent you an email? That has nothing to do with whether they did it or not. Right? I have a witness, a Lyft driver that took me there. Okay? I have the receipt that the guy gave me. Okay? I have both the temporary copy of the new insurance policy and the one that was underwritten a day later and sent to me. Okay? Which clearly states the policy is good from 12/2/20 to 12/2/21. I mean 12/2/19 to 12/2/20. Okay, and everything that it has, which includes comprehensive and collision, and they're trying to say, oh no, because on this date it doesn't say anything on the policy. I think I sent you the policy, didn't I? Did I send you the policy? Yeah, it doesn't say anything about when it begins. It got coverage. It was supposed to be from a certain date to a certain date. If that was the case, then they would have billed me accordingly. Because I was 2 months into my insurance on a 12-month period or a 6-month period. They would have, what do you call that? Where they adjust it, right? For the comp and collision. No, they didn't. They charged me for the whole term. What were they going to do? Give me 2 extra months of comp and collision after my policy was over? No, they couldn't do that anyway. They can't add 2 months of extra comp and collision 2 months after the policy ends. So that right there proves that Freeway was meant to backdate that policy because he gave me those 2 months. He charged me for the 2 months. I'd already had insurance without it. End of story. There's no more evidence even needs to be had. I mean, there is more evidence, but that's what. In the meantime, I can't. Freeway Insurance won't talk to me. They switch me around to different places and tell me we're not going to do anything. We're not going to do anything. I filed an escalated claim that got nowhere. They fired the guy that was doing it. National General is just playing games. My side of National General now is 100% in my favor. The West Coast National General. They decided it's not my fault, 100%, that it's hers, and that they're not backing down from that because they did the investigation. They talked to the witnesses. They saw the accident scene. The ones on the East Coast are absolutely saying, no, it's absolutely not. Or at least let's make it a little bit his fault because then we can not have to pay his claim. And I've got a $38,000 Mercedes. It's not even a year old sitting out there wrecked. It's totaled. And a service dog that's damaged. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I mean, you have other people that get on Pissed Off Consumer and do these reviews, and there's I found over 40 people that have problems with National General. It's always the same. They say they don't have any offices in North Carolina. They have 3 offices in North Carolina, but they will never admit it to you on the phone. If you try calling anybody, they're trained in deception. I'm missing a money order for $430. It was the second month I had insurance. I sent it there. I called and I verified that they got it. And then I got a letter saying, hey, where's your money? You're late. I ended up having to pay it again. And I put a trace on the money order, and the money order was received at the address that was on the top of my insurance paperwork, which was in North Carolina. And they're saying that they've never heard of that address. They don't have anything out there. Yet I have envelopes that have that address, that return address on it. And they have a place called Stonewood Insurance and another place that's also out there in North Carolina that they own. So how are they not in North Carolina? They're telling me when I'm calling because they don't want me to talk to them. So I don't even know where my $430 is. And then there's billing practices. And you have a lot of these on your site. You've had a lot of complaints about this. Okay. These people, Freeway Insurance doesn't tell you anything about this broker thing. They bill you. The first payment you make is theirs. That he took it and got drunk on it the first night he was on vacation. The $275 I put down. Okay. Then as soon as they bill you, then the National Insurance will bill you. Then they bill you, then the National Insurance will bill you. And you're doing these double bills. But if you aren't careful, not only do they bill you, they'll second bill you in the same month. So you're paying twice on top of the broker fee you're not even supposed to be paying, except for the first time. Right. And the broker and Freeway Insurance will keep billing you and billing you and billing you. And it's supposed to be in one thing. The first thing is a broker fee. There's no other broker fees, and they bill you every month, right? And they hound you. They hound you for the money. So National General knows about it, yet they don't do. Why would they be doing business with a broker that's underhanded? And why are there more complaints about Freeway Insurance on your site or anybody else's site? There are complaints in other sites, but nowhere near like there is on National General. National General is they'll slow drag you and then try to come up with something to block you, to put you off, to keep putting you off until they're hoping you'll go away or you'll cancel. Like Freeway, what they do is they say give you all the discounts when they sign you up, and then a month later they take discounts off and say you weren't eligible for that, so we jacked it up. We weren't eligible for that. You jacked it up, and they jack it up and hope you don't pay because then they don't have to insure you. Then they only insured you for 2 months, but they got paid for a year. And you canceled and they're still billing your card. And there's a lot of cases of that. It's just underhanded. It shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't have to worry about that. I never worried about that with AAA. You should be able to pay, and changing your insurance. If I have to add something or subtract something off my insurance, especially when it comes to adding, I have the right to add stuff to my insurance, especially if it's essential and it's mandatory by the finance company and they know it. So isn't it Freeway Insurance's responsibility right now for my car because they did not let me insure it in a timely manner, right? And should National General, if they don't want to pay for it, shouldn't they be going after Freeway with me? Should they be pressuring Freeway and saying, look, you guys made a mistake, just tell us and we'll deal with it. You have insurance for it. We have insurance for it. And if this guy, you can cover this guy, then just cover him. But they don't want to do that. National General doesn't want anything to do with that because they want to be able to keep doing what they're doing. And I think Freeway Insurance and National General are going hand in hand somehow. They're connected monetarily because there's a lot of money changing hands in the insurance industry. A lot of money. And it's at our expense. If they're not paying for claims that are obvious, what are they doing to us? To the consumer. If I can't get a rental car while they're figuring it out, when he clearly caused the accident, how am I insured? I haven't got anything that I didn't even pay for, except for a hassle. I didn't get the insurance I paid for. I didn't get the insurance I wanted. I haven't got any of the benefits of any of the insurance that I've gotten. I've had to track them down. I've probably spent 70 hours on the phone with National General, and I've pushed it. I pushed it all the way because I believe in it, and it's the truth. And they've backed up slowly, but they don't want to put the money out. They don't even want to pay for storage of the car. I paid over $1,350 to store the car because it can't be left on the street wrecked like it is, right? Well, you would think one of our sides of the insurance would pay for that, right? I mean, storage is covered under both policies. Nothing. It's all about not putting any money out. So I don't know what to do, except for go after them and try and get a class action suit against them and get everybody else who has problems with them or has had a problem with them to step forward, and I'll be the lead, and I'll find the attorney. Actually, I found the attorney, but I have to have 5 people or more to make it worthwhile for them. I have to have 2 people to make it, but 5 people or more, and it's worthwhile to them because they're going to put up all the costs to do this. But you guys and Pissed Off Consumer and a couple other places have some pretty good complaints about National General, enough to investigate them. And here's another little thing: National General is based supposedly in San Diego, I think it is, near the border. Well, when I walked in, I didn't see one white person working in there. And every time you call, you're talking to somebody who has come into the country and is probably on a green card, or probably working for one. And it's not evenly, it's not leveled out as far as employment. Let's put it that way. And if that's the case, then the way that they talk to you and the way they hand you off, they have to be trained to do that. There's key things, addresses. If someone asks for that, they'll hand you off to another extension, and that extension already knows how to handle that request. To not give you the information you want, get you to someone else. You follow what I'm saying? And you could be on the phone for 3 hours and not get one answer and talk to 6 people. Well, I have the names of every person I've talked to. I have the names of managers at every location that I've talked to. I have dates, and I have 16 recordings of some of those calls. So between the 2nd of December and the 13th of December, Friday the 13th, when the accident occurred, I tried to get insurance for no less than 42 times, 16 of them recorded, and couldn't get it. I did my due diligence. That is criminal what they did. It's not right.